Hey, what's up again, everybody? Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, gundamreviews.net, and this may be one of the last times that I kick off that AGE device, because it's time to speculate about episode 49, the last episode of Gundam AGE. It's not going to make it to 50 or 52, although it certainly did better than the original, and Gundam X, well, outside of the whole theatrical release and sensation that it became since then in the case of First Gundam. Nonetheless, it's a chance just for you to put your comments down below as to what you think is going to happen. And of course, stick around for episode 49's review on Sunday night. I'm very much looking forward to it. So anyway, here's some questions for you to consider, and I'm sure you can pose a lot more, so let the speculation begin. With the first question, I suppose, having to be, well, just who is going to be the final bad guy? I remember back in 00 watching the first season, wondering who the final climax villain was going to be. Seeing Ribbons do his thing at the end of the first season certainly set things up well. Wasn't going to be Graham or Ali Al-Sarshiz. Nonetheless, in this one, all the likely targets, well, Zeehart, he of the non-counterattack, especially in movie form, is definitely not after his mad Gundam dash out in the Legolas and getting dismantled by Asim, as somebody pointed out in the comments. Love that, he's a galette killer, whether it's going to be Dezel or Zeehart. Nonetheless, Ezo old man in bed, but we've seen this kind of thing in Gundam before, in Crossbone, where you can take an old man, and in this case, he was just going to be fighting in a bunch of tubes. But I'm just figuring that we're going to have Ezo clone himself and put him into a body. As people pointed out in the comments, if it's not going to be him with his memories, then it's not going to have the same motivations as just a brand new kid out there running around without any programming or just an empty shell or something like that. So if they don't make the connection to make Ezo the main villain, I think it could be disappointing. But of course, we also have to see Sid's role. Some people said Mono Eye, some people said not. Nonetheless, we're going to have Sid running around, a clone running around. Some pretty cool looking line art has shown up on Gundam AGE's Twitter account as well. There's going to be lots of cool things to see. Can't see how it's going to play out. In terms of the bad guys, Sid, Ezo, are they going to be on the same side, controlling one another? Or is it just going to be a big three-way battle, as we've seen in things like Zeta? Which brings up the even bigger question, though, in terms of the three characters. Because with 3 generations of protagonists, it's a totally different dynamic, because in most Gundam or anime series in general, if you're going to have the hero off in the last episode, it's going to be quite a bummer, unless you go back to Char's counterattack, where Amuro's missing status has become quite legendary, and not to mention him and Char. In this case, there's 3, which means we've got 2 in excess. It already seems like Asim has wrapped up his story arc by wiping out Zeehart in the end of the last episode, and we also got to see Zeehart and him share a moment. Flit, he of the genocidal tendencies, certainly some people have been cheering for him to get offed. He's made it this far, but he's still running around in, 40-plus-year-old technology there. No matter how much you want to Alex it up and put on a strike pack to the back, doesn't seem like he's certainly expendable, or so it seems. And we may just have, in the end, Flit get offed early, Asim gets offed saving his son Kyo, and Kyo the only one to live to see the peace. Because, of course, if we are going to have a 4th generation, Kyo's got to be around. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they are going to kill off more protagonists, and if we're going to have a ghost image of Flit and Asim helping Kyo finally win things in the end. Lots to speculate about. Why don't you let me know which of the 3 you think will survive, or if it's going to be all of them. And when you think about it, over the last couple episodes, we've had so many characters, 9 just off the top of my head killed off. Wolf's already gone, Sarek's gone, Grudek's gone. A lot of people, of course, from the first generation should be gone. But who's left for them to have emotional kills outside of those main 3 characters that you can see rotating around there? I figure that the Captain Moe is going to survive, because that's just going to make Sarek's death all the more tragic as she's going to go on and set herself up for the potential captain of the 4th generation, where she's going to be a lot more cool later Bright than early Bright, I'm sure, as the character arc that people have been pointing out that she had to follow since her poor introduction early on in the series. Nonetheless, who else is there besides her to be really knocked off in terms of the supporting cast that could have any impact whatsoever on viewers? I think they've already killed them all. And over the course of my reviews, there's one thing I've been harping on far too much, I think, and that was the idea of Algreus being a sellout, and in the end, he was in the Vegans' pockets the whole time, which is the only reason this war has gone on this long. Nonetheless, it looks like Flit has certainly kept him in line, and I think that he's going to be a good guy, and at the end, they just had to choose such a cool Seiyu to make an actual politician interesting, which I think they certainly succeeded. So if he's a good guy and he survives, then that's not going to surprise me. Anyway, everybody, in the end, everything that I've said here is just my speculation. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the big three. What's going to happen to them? What's going to be the big bad guy? What is going to be the final scene? We better see another FX burst if we're only going to see one in episode 47. That seems insufficient for them to sell another high-grade model with the recolor. Anyway, everybody, love to hear from you, and of course, check back Sunday for episode 49's final review. And anyway, let's keep the speculation rolling right up till then, including whether there's going to be any more. Anyway, everybody, thanks for watching. See you on Sunday. With these guys out of the way, seriously, who's going to be the last bad guy? It's gotta be Ezocan reincarnated. They wouldn't do something silly and have it be like, oh, an onion.